Hi guys, welcome to another edition of CBS Free Skill Acquisition. My name is Anu Elizabeth and I'll be taking you on bag making. So join me as we roll it together. Thank you. Today I'll be making a box bag, and then there are so many equipments we are going to be using. We'll be using carry board, chipboard, then our equipment, mallets, hammer, punch board, scissors, plier, A4 gum. This is Top-Bond brand. Our bag, this is bag lock, our eyelets, back stand. This is our punch, brush, back chain, and because we'll be using Ankara for the box bag, this is our Ankara material. We'll be using wadding used by commonly tailors. We'll be using velvets. This is the leather velvet that we'll be using. Then our ruler. So let's start. Then definitely our pen. You can start now. Okay, firstly we'll be using our carry board for the body of the bag, and then the measurement we'll be using is 11 inches by 8 inches by 4, meaning that the width of the bag is going to be 11 inches. The length of the bag is going to be 8 inches, and then the base of the bag is going to be 4 inches. So this is how we go about measuring it. You measure your width, which is 11 inches. Measure 11 inches, and then the height of the bag, I have 8 inches here. Then the base, which is 4 inches. Then another one, this place now is called the front of the bag. This is the base, this is the back of the bag, and then 2 inches for cover, and then we have the flap of the bag. And this is how it's going to look like. I'm going to be folding it, so I've folded it already. You fold it, we have the front, the base, the back, the cover, and then the flap. So, and this is the shape it's going to give us. So the next thing I'll be doing is to add my gum at the back, and then I'm going to place the wadding. So I'll be adding my gum. Just make sure you add the gum thoroughly. And then I'm going to place my wadding. This serves as the body of the bag. Just place it gently. So the next thing is to trim off all these excesses. While trimming, make sure you don't cut the board. Just to trim it in such a way that is going to align together. Okay, so now there's something I want to do. I want to give my cover, I want to give it a cuff edge. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure 1 inch at both sides. And I'm going to use something round to join it together. So I'm going to cut it off. This can actually be done before placing your wedding. So this is the shape that I will be having. Okay, so now after then I'm going to add another gum so that I can fix my Ankara on it. At this point, make sure that you apply the gum generously to be able to hold the fabric. Okay, so after applying the gum generously, I'll be placing my fabric. Make sure you iron your fabric before using it. So gently, while cutting the fabric, make sure you leave some excesses for folding. You're smoothing it out. And then the excesses, we are going to fold it in. So we apply gum only at the edges of the board. Make sure the application is done in such a way that when folding, it's not going to stain your fabric. You can allow it to dry a little bit so that it won't stain your fabric. So you fold it. When you get to this angle, what you do is to fold it in a triangular manner, like that. and at the cuff edge too, make sure you cuff it in such a way as not to disrupt the shape of the bag. That place is not gumming well, so make sure everything gummed properly. So the next thing is just to trim off all these excesses. Cut it off that way. Cut inwardly. So this is what we will be having at the end of the day. So now we are done with the outer of the bag. So we want to do the inner of the bag, which is the lining. And then we will be using our chipboard for the lining. And then for the chipboard, we are going to reduce the measurement by 0.1 inch. So I've done that already. So if you are going to do the measuring for the outer, for the length, so I've reduced it with just 0.1 inch, and then the same thing for everything. I reduced it by 0.1. Here also you reduce it by 0.1. Only the cover will remain untouched. You are not going to reduce the cover. Then for the flap also, you reduce it by 0.1. So also for the width of the bag, you reduced by 0.2, because 0.1 here is 0.1 at the other side. And so we fold it together. This is the shape it will give us. So I'm going to give that cuff edge for the flap also. Measure 1 inch at both edges, and then you just cut it out. That way. So I'll be applying gum all over here and cover it with my velvet. So I have my velvet. When cutting your inner, make sure you cut to leave some excesses for folding. I already added zip. So you place it carefully. Make sure there are excesses for folding. then you turn over. I'm going to apply gum at the edges so that I can fold. The same way we did the other folding, we fold it in a triangular form, especially when it's pointed corners. So I'm going to trim off this excess. So this is what it's going to look like. So this forms our outer and then our inner. Now, the next thing is to have our sides. So I'm going to be using chipboard. I'm going to be using chipboard like we have the base of the bag, meaning that the width of our side is going to be the base of the bag, but we will be using the inner measurement. Whatever measurement we use for this inner, remember that when we add this, we were having 11 by 8 inches, and here we reduce the measurement by 0.1. So meaning that whatever measurement that we have for the inner is what I'm going to be having for the side. So it's the same. The width is 3, but I reduced it with 0.1, and then the height is 8, then I reduced it with 0.1 inches too. So the first thing I'm going to apply, I'm going to gum the chipboard with the wording. So I'm going to apply gum and then place it carefully on the chipboard. The same thing I'll do for this. So I'll be trimming off these excesses. So now after then, I'm going to be putting my fabric. So I will apply gum. Then I'm going to apply a little gum on my fabric here so as to hold it properly. Just a little gum like that. And I'll carefully place it while leaving excesses. While applying your gum, make sure you do it in such a way that it's not going to stain your fabric. It's very, very necessary. Here, I'm not going to fold. I'll be folding only the top of the bag or the top of the side. That way. Here's how I'm going to leave it. There, I did not apply my gum. I forgot to do that. I'm still going to hold it. Either ways are right. So now our sides are ready. So the next thing is to fix our side with the bag. Our sides are usually fixed with the inner of the bag. This is called the inner of the bag. This is called the outer of the bag. So I'm going to fix the side there. And in fixing the side, it has to be base to base, while the height of the bag with the height. But right before then, I'm going to cover the side so that they will not be seeing my chipboard. So I'll be using my velvet, the same thing I use for the inner, to cover it. So I'll apply gum. While applying gum here, make sure that your gum is not actually reaching the end, the tip of the side. So like here, you give it a fold like that, and then you carefully place it. And then you lay out this properly. So this is ready. In folding, and just try to like tuck this place, tuck it in. So after applying my gum, I'm going to place the velvet for my lining. So I'm going to apply another gum here. Then it's going to cover it up. And then I'm going to fold it . So I'll trim off the excess. So this is what my side will look like. I'll do the same thing . Apply gum at the edges also, just for folding in. I'm going to cut also. Now I'm going to apply gum so as to fix my, to be able to fix my side. Apply gum. And then carefully place it . So this is what I have. Now for the tip, because we are using fabric, I cannot just fold it. The wool of the fabric will be removing. So what I'm going to do, I will just apply a little gum at the tip here. I'm going to fold this first, and then another gum. like that, and then give it another folding. That way the wool will not pull off. So that's what I will do for the second one. So I'll place it on my fabric. You allow it to dry, to air dry, and then you fold it. Okay, so this is what we have. We are now going to join these two sides with the inner of the bag. So in joining it, I'm going to apply gum. Starting from the length, the front to the base, to the second length. So try to put it in a sitting position like that. You take this. You want to make sure that this enters the seats. So you have it that way. And then the second. So make sure you constantly check in order to make sure that it's gummed well. So this is what we have. Then the second one. Now, our inner is ready. The next thing for us to do is to come and join it together. And this is how it will be sitting. So I'm going to trim off this excess. Now, before joining it, I'm going to fix my back stand. And in fixing my back stand, I'm going to do the measurements. From here, I'll have 1 inch, and here I'll be having ½ inch. The same thing, our back stand cut across the 4 corners of the bag. This is a marking pen. And one of the essence of the marking pen, once on your fabric, your pen may not show very well. So you use your marking pen for that purpose. So I'm going to be punching. I'll be putting my back stand. The bag stand comes in silver, gold, black, bronze. So depending on the fabric you are using. So I'm using the gold accessory. Fix it that way. So here, you open it up. And your mallet. So, this is almost ready. So I want to join both the outer and the inner of the bag together. So I'll be applying my gum. In applying the gum, I'm starting from the base. And while applying it, make sure it's not getting to the tip of the bag. So make sure that the gum is not reaching the edge of the bag. So I'm going to set this aside and apply gum on the inner. So it's also starting from the base of the bag. So now I'm going to start placing it from the base first, base to base, while making sure that it's aligned with my outer. and then the back of the bag together like that. Followed by the cover, and then the flap. So that this is what we will be having. Now we are going to be using bag lock. So in fixing it, I'll start with this first, and then I'll come and join this. So I'm going to put this at the middle. So I'm going to take the measurements in order to be able to get the middle of the bag. That's the middle, and I'm going to place this right at the middle. And I'm going to draw it out. So I'm going to cut off this place using my punch. This can also be done. You can also use blade or cutter knife to cut it off. Now after making the hole, I'm going to open up this, fix it there like that, and then come here So while we have this, make sure it's straight. Now while we have that, I'm going to fix this like this. Align this properly. And then I'm going to mark where I'll be fixing it. So that point, I'm going to make an hole. Mallet. So that will be like that. So now I will now apply gum to finish up that. So make sure you close it. And then our bag is ready. Now remaining fixing of eyelets, so I'll be able to carry for easy carriage. So I'll have my eyelets like that. So I'll just measure. Two inches each. Two, and then I have 3.5 here. Two, then 3.5. Now after doing that, at the middle of the bag, make sure it's at the middle. Remember, our cover is 2. This is our middle. So this is where I'll be drawing the circle. Then here also, this is here, and then the second one. This is the middle. This is at the middle. Draw the circle. The same thing. So I'm going to use my bigger punch to make the hole. Okay, so I'm done with making holes for my eyelets. So I'm going to fix my eyelet that way. This is called eyelet washer. So I'll be fixing it . Now I can now fix my chain. This is 36 plus 25 inches. Use clipper to put it together. This is the outcome of our bag. Our bag is ready. So that brings us to the end of the box bag making with Ankara fabric. I'm sure by the time you try out yours, it's going to come out better. Thank you for watching. We want to be making a satchel bag, and then we'll be using a jean material or denim. So we'll be using carry board, chipboard, our jean, and then our wording. So starting with the measurements, we are going to be using the width of 7 from here to here 7, and then the height we will be using 6 inches, and then our base will be 3 inches. So this is the measurements: the width 7 inches, the height 6 inches, the base we'll be using 3 inches. Our cover remain the same, and then we have our flap. This flap here is also 6 inches, but this is how, after cutting it out, we have this. Because it's a satchel bag, we are not going to be folding the cover. So I want to give it a semi-round finishing, so I'm going to measure 2.5 2.5. So you can use anything circular, something that can give you a round finishing, and at the same time that will be able to contain the width of your bag. I'm going to cut off So this is what I have, and then I will do the same for the inner. going to measure 2.5. Remember, whatever we are having at the outer, we just reduced it when we are making our inner with 0.1 cm inches rather. So now we want to start gumming. I'm going to apply gum. Then my wording. Trim up the excess. I'm adding another gum so as to place my denim. I'm going to, because this is thicker than ordinary Ankara, I'll be adding gum on it so that it can hold firmly together. While you are cutting your fabric, make sure you leave out excesses for folding. So I'm going to reduce here. So I'll apply gum at the edges for folding. So trim off the excess there. Looking like it. So I'm going to fold to apply gum for the inner. So I trim off the excess also. Then followed by my sides. We are using chipboard for this side. side, you know, when we measure this, our width was 7 and then our length was 6. And then I said if we are going to measure the inner, we will only reduce it with 0.1. So meaning that here, the width here, instead of 7, I reduced it by 0.1 inch. And then for the height, that is 6 here, instead of having 6, I have 6 but reduced it with 0.1 inch. Now if I'm going to measure my inner now, I'm going to be using the measurement of the inner to have my side. So meaning that the width here is and then our base here, I'm having 3 here. Here I have 3 but I reduced it with 0.1 inch. Meaning that here I have 3 but reduced with 0.1 inch, and then the height is 6 but reduced by 0.1 inch. That is how I came about this. Meaning that they are having the same height with the inner and then the same width with the base of the inner. So I'm going to apply gum. Then place it on my body. So I'm going to trim off the excess. After then, I'm going to apply gum at the back to be able to place my fabric. My sides are ready for fixing. Now, I'm going to be putting back magnets. So I'll be having a magnet for the bag. So my magnet is going to be on the inner. So all I need to do is to get the middle, the middle, 5" where I'll be fixing my magnets. These are called magnets washer. This is my magnets. For the outer, this is the outer of the bag, this is the inner of the bag. So for the outer, I'll be having my bag stand. So I'm going to put the measurement also. I'm measuring 1 inch horizontally and then 5 inch vertically at the 4 corners of the bag. Punch a hole. Back stand. The next thing is to join the sides with the inner, but before then I'm going to be fixing hook on which I'm going to attach my chain. Bag hook that I'll be using. Just make sure it's at the middle. I'm going to be making a hole here. So on this hole, I'm going to attach rivets. This is called rivets. We attach it this way. I'm going to be using my plier to hold it down. It's on here. I'm going to be fixing my chain. So the same thing I'll do here. Join my side with the inner. So I'm going to apply gum just at the tip here for it to be able to hold properly. So I'm going to start with side first. So the same thing here. going to apply gum. So I'm starting with the side. So I'll trim off this edge. Okay, so the next thing is to join the inner with the outer. So I'm going to be applying gum, and I'm starting the application from the base of the bag. So the same thing, I'm going to apply gum, starting from the base of the bag. So I'll be placing it side base on base, while making sure that both are lined properly. So the next thing, this is how my bag is coming. So I want to fix the second magnet so that I can wrap up everything. So I'm going to place that for me to be able to know where I'm going to put the mark, and then making sure that all these sides, they are aligned together properly. Fix the washer. Open it. So I'm going to apply gum to finish up. So, but I'm not going to leave this side empty. I'll be placing this just for beautification. So I'll apply my gum. Or you use iron to just fix it down. Then I'm going to fix my chain. These are bag hook for fixing chain. So I will open one side of the chain. And then the other side. So fix it. And this is what I have. So this is the end of the satchel bag. What makes a satchel bag different from a box bag is because we did not bend the cover, and as we can see, so this is my bag. The measurement for the chain is 36. Just a yard is enough, and it can be carried as a crossbody or as a clutch. Thank you for watching.